Guys, I have the legendary ETF analyst Eric Balchunas. Thank you so much for joining. I just watched your full ETF presentation, and you said one thing and one thing in particular that made me say, wow. And that was the fact that not too long ago, Bitcoin decoupled from the rest of the traditional finance market when TradFi was dumping, but Bitcoin didn't go down so much. And you said that the more that happens, the more that institutional investors will be much more curious to put their money in Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's right, because larger institutions, they're looking for digital gold. They don't want a tech stock. And so the tech stock volatility and the high beta reputation that Bitcoin has is not that interesting to them. What they want is a safe haven, indestructible money, something that can hedge inflation and the market potentially. Gold is good at that. So as it turns more into gold and decouples, it'll see more interest. On the panel yesterday at Token 2049, I was interviewing BlackRock, and that's what they said. When the first day of decoupling, the first day where stocks went down and Bitcoin went up, they got a bunch of incoming calls from these institutions saying this is good. So again, you see more of that. I think it's going to be good long term for not just the ETF, but Bitcoin in general, because some institutions probably will buy it directly. But this is from the ETF themselves, and IBIT is probably the one used by the largest institutions the most. So you got to really listen to what they say.
And just to end off very quickly, you spoke about the demographic difference between different investors and their personal risk tolerances. Obviously, Bitcoin is an incredibly volatile asset, has a huge upside potential, but also has downside risk. How do you think the Gen Xers and the boomers who have most of the wealth in stocks and in the markets, how do you think they will be convinced to buy into Bitcoin?
Yeah, so I'm actually working on a book about this. Could try to explain Bitcoin and crypto to people like my mom.
Okay.
But basically, in the end, if you're worried about the purchasing power of money going down, inflation, and just sort of debt, which most people are, having an indestructible money is powerful, especially the scarcity. So the other thing is there's a lot of smart people in this industry. So the tech is great. So there's really two things I think are appealing. One, the indestructible money and gold-like aspects of Bitcoin to hedge worldwide inflation and the global money printer. That's powerful. And I think that will ultimately slowly appeal to older investors. Young people already get it. The other thing is the tech. So the blockchain and the adoption it has, not by businesses and government, ultimately, if it spreads like it looks like it will, that will make more interest in the tokens. Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and all the other tokens that are launched that will come around. It won't be as big as Bitcoin, but I think that's the other way that you'll get older people invested, because ultimately they like to invest in growth stocks like Nvidia and Tesla. And in a way, the altcoins are a growth story. They're, like a stock, it's just the technology that you buy a different way. So those would be, I think, the ways that they go up to the older investors, but it'll take a while. They're hard. The older you get, the less you want to change. I know this because I'm getting up there myself. But so that's probably what'll happen over time, slowly.
Well, thank you so much, Eric.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this interview twice with me now.
Sure.
So that's incredible.
You got it, man. I appreciate you coming out. We don't get you might be the first whatever. You might be the youngest person to ever come to one of my seminars, so I appreciate that.
Incredible. Thank you so much.
Obviously, that's great. So anyway, see you, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Well, guys, I'm just going to add on to what Eric said, because he did mention other points, and that was the fact that, and by the way, I'm at the Bloomberg office. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool place. So if you're in Dubai and if you get a chance to get to one of these seminars, please do check it out. So another cool thing that Eric said was, look, as soon as BlackRock and Fidelity and Charles Schwab came in and said that, Bitcoin is good, and Larry Fink said $700,000 Bitcoin, that essentially gave the full creditation that, Bitcoin is legit. Everything is legit. The crypto industry, according to Eric, really helped President Trump become president. And also now you have the presidential approval, you have the massive issuers, they're approving it. These are all great and fantastic things, and you need to understand that most of these old people, they don't get Bitcoin and cryptocurrency still. They don't get the value added benefit. And eventually they will do. And in the next 10 years, every single ETF, every single financial asset will be fully tokenized. And CZ was talking yesterday about every single citizen of every country having their own unique public wallet address, where they can vote, when they can put their personal data on, where they can transact, buy stocks, buy Bitcoin, buy crypto, buy stable coins. is all going to be interconnected and interoperable thanks to the blockchain. So all of these developments are coming. Everything is super bullish, and you're still early because people don't get it. The M2 money supply is going up. Bitcoin follows liquidity. I spoke to Raoul Pal, who I'm hopefully going to have on the channel very, very soon. Like, this is the time to be buying. This is the time to be buying and hodling for as long as you can. Short term, yes, maybe the markets will top out in September and October, but it doesn't matter. I personally don't think so. I think whatever money you make from altcoins when we get the altcoin ETFs, because it will drive up price action. Altcoin ETFs will cause spot altcoins to go up in value. I think whatever money we make from this cycle specifically, we need to rotate it back into Bitcoin. And if you keep your money in Bitcoin, according to everything that Eric has said and everything that I'm hearing in Token 2049, we should be absolutely solid. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next video very soon. So guys, take care, and as always, bye-bye.